What's going on, guys? My name is Michael and here we are with part 2 of the macro series. And before we get started, there are 2 other videos that I think you should watch if you haven't seen them already. Part 1 to this series and how many calories a day to lose weight. Links in the description or over to the side of me. But let's go ahead and get started with this. So, I will get this question all the time. What should my macros look like? What split should I follow? 2 popular ones are the 50-30-20 split and the 40-40-20 split. I just get asked about those all the time. And to be honest, those splits really aren't the best way because it's like a one-size-fits-all thing. And I guess a good analogy for it would be, what is better, a custom-fitted suit or just a one-size-fits-all trash bag? Which one are you gonna look better in? I hope you said the suit. Now those are a good place to start if you're just learning the basics, but with this what we're gonna do is go into a little bit more in depth and your split will look probably a lot different than a 40-40-20 or a 50-30-20 when it's all said and done. So let's go ahead and jump into the first macro, and that is protein. And with this, it's pretty conflicting. There's a lot of research that says you need less. Some say you need more, but just a good place to start is 1 gram per pound of body weight. And keep in mind, if you are really overweight, you could use your lean body mass here, because if you are 300 pounds and you have a lot of fat, you're obviously not going to need 300 grams of protein. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, 1 gram per pound is just a good place to start. The next macro that we're gonna talk about is fat. Now I'm doing protein and fat first because these are essential macronutrients. Your body needs them just to function properly. And a lot of the time people will say, oh, I'm going on a no-fat diet, because they'll just somehow think it helps them to lose fat. But don't do that for an extended period of time because, like I said, fat is an essential macronutrient. It's important to have it in your diet. And with this, what I like to do is do 0.4 grams per pound of body weight. And the same thing applies to this, as I said with the protein. If you're really overweight, use your lean body mass here, and if you want to know how to find that out, I'll put directions down below in the description. I'm trying to keep this simple because I know how you feel if you're watching this. I used to be in that position where I was just overwhelmed by all of this. And I don't really want to have like a big math class on this board. I'm trying to keep it straightforward here. And the third and final macro is carbs. Now, carbs are not an essential macronutrient, but they will help you gain size and kind of keep your workouts intense. And I just don't think it's a good idea to try to build muscle on a low carb diet. Now with this, the number of carbs that you have, there isn't some set formula. What you should really look at is see how many calories a day you're gonna have based on your goal. And that's why I said you should watch that other video first. Link right here over to the side of me or in the description once again. And right now what I've got here on the board is just an example for a 200-pound person. And let's say he's already found out how many calories he needs to eat based on his goal. And when he did this, he got 3,000 calories. So let's say he wants to maintain his weight at 3,000 calories. He's 200 pounds, so he's gonna eat 1 gram per pound of body weight and 200. And then this is what I talked about in part 1 of this series. And if you guys remember, it is the 4-4-9 rule. 4 calories per gram of protein and carbs and 9 calories per gram for fat, which is why you see 4, 4, and 9. And what I did here was multiply the grams by 4 because that's how many calories are in 1 gram, and we got 800 calories. So 800 calories of his total intake of 3,000 are going to come from protein. And the same goes for fat, but I just multiplied 80 by 9 and we got 720. So if he wants to eat 3,000 calories, he's just going to fill up the remaining calories, which is 1,480 with carbs. And now to figure out the carbs, all that we have to do is take 1,480, which is how many calories are gonna come from carbs, and divide it by 4. Up here we multiplied, but here we are going to divide to figure out how many grams of carbs we should eat a day. And once you do this in your calculator, it is 370 grams for our example person. And this means that our example person will be getting enough protein, fat, and carbs based on his goal. And like I said at the start of the video, if we were to do a split of 40-40-20, chances are this person would be getting too much protein and his carbs would be a little bit low. You want to do what is optimal. And speaking of that, you don't have to be exact. It's not an exact science unless you are dieting for a show. Don't be that guy that has 8 ounces of chicken and sits there on his food scale and cuts off little pieces at a time until he gets down to 7.7 ounces. You don't really have to stress about it that much. And at the end of the day, if you are, plus or minus 10 grams on your protein and carbs and plus or minus 5 grams on your fat, it's not gonna kill you. You don't have to stress about it that much, but they're just good guidelines to follow. Like with me, if I'm a little bit over on protein, a little bit under on carbs at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna compete in a show. I'll just try to make up for it the next day. So what I'm trying to say here is don't let these numbers control your life, because they can if you let them. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still watching, please give the video a like down below. I would really appreciate that. Comment with any questions, and if you want written out directions, I'll put that in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook if you want, and I'll